Welcome to the Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast, where it's all about getting real around all things coaching.
And what we know for sure is that what got you here won't get you there.
You can't see the spinach in your own teeth.
And finally, hang on, because this one's really deep. Once you realize that you are the traffic, everything makes complete and unadulterated sense.
So on today's episode, what we're going to do, Karen, is...
Tell me, Jen.
We're going to talk about coaching others.
Are we?
We are. It's so fascinating because so many of our clients will show up, and whether it's in organizations or leaders or people in general, they show up and they always bring someone to the coaching session who's not really there. So let me explain what I mean. They bring their story, right? And they're like, oh my God.
Why don't you tell me what you mean?
Let me tell you what I mean.
Because I think I know what you mean, but why don't you tell all the other people what you mean?
Okay, I will. So people, This is what I mean. What I mean is that people will come and they will bring, my brother's driving me nuts, my sister-in-law is this, my boss is that. And they want to get coached around a relationship, but the other person isn't present. They're not part of the coaching session. And so many coaches will just dive right into the story and try to ask questions to try to fix the situation when, Karen, you and I both know that it's about working with the person, because the only person you can coach is the person in the session.
Totally. And what happens is everybody's like, well, if this person would just change, then something would happen. Or if they'd just do this, or if they'd just take out the trash, or if they'd just be nicer. And that's the thing. If they would just, right? It shows up all the time. And the interesting part about that is that most people don't realize when they do stuff like that, it just takes all their power away. Because it's like, all right, great. Let me just give all that my power to somebody else right now.
Yeah, it's true. You know, if you think about it, so if I'm super frustrated with somebody and I want them to be different, which they may or may not ever do.
No. So, okay, everybody out there, raise your hand if you've ever tried to change somebody. Okay, I see all the hands going up. I do. I can see them. Even though I can't see them, I can see all the hands going up because you try to change other people. Now, my next question. Keep your hand up if you were successful. Boom. All the hands go down. Some a little bit slower than others, but they go down. And that's the problem, right? Because what happens is we try to change other people and it doesn't work. The only thing we can do, Jen, is what?
We have to change ourselves.
Bingo. Now, here's the thing, though, about that. I'm going to tell you something about it because a lot of people say, why do I have to change?
What do they say?
They say, why do I have to change? And it's true, right? They're like, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? Well, if you want to be in a relationship with somebody, you got to figure out how do you make it work for you? Because if you don't change, then the relationship and the other person doesn't change. Hello, once again, to the Einstein circle of insanity. You're going to keep doing the same shit again and again and again, and not a freaking thing is going to change. Why? Because you're not changing and they're not changing. Stalemate.
So it's so true here, because the only thing we really have control over is the way we think about a situation, which will in turn determine how we feel about a situation. That then is going to determine what action we take or don't take and what results we're going to get.
Yep.
And so much we focus on, if only this person would do X, Y, and Z, then I wouldn't be frustrated. Then I wouldn't be uncomfortable. Then I wouldn't be angry. Then I wouldn't be sad. Then I wouldn't, fill in the blank. And the reality is just, we actually just have to change our thoughts about it, right? So it's something that we feel other people should be or shouldn't be that's actually causing our misery. And if you look at it like under a big old microscope, usually I'm frustrated with them because they're so closed-minded, but I'm showing up closed-minded. Or maybe it's something where I feel that people should be more compassionate and I judge them for not being compassionate, and then I've totally lost all my compassion for someone not being compassionate.
Right. So it's that mirror almost.
It is. So the key question I know a lot of people here probably are wondering and waiting to hear the answer, but how do we stay coaching the individual when they're having relationship problems with others? So let's talk about that.
I was just going to say, are you asking me that question?
Yeah.
Well, that's the key, right? Because you have to just figure out with that person how it is that they're really showing up. Because here's the thing, Jen, when you were just talking, it made me think of. So the big part about this is if that other person wasn't doing what they were doing, right? Or if they were doing what we thought they should be doing, right? Then we wouldn't feel a certain way. So if you think about this, it comes back to like you were just saying, what's the thought that's going on in your head that's creating that feeling? Because if you felt good, there wouldn't be an issue. But it's the thing that they're doing, the story that we're creating around the thing that they're doing that's making us feel a certain way. So then, go ahead.
No, I'm listening.
Oh, I thought that there was just brilliance coming when you when you put your hand up. But the thing here is, right, it's about figuring out then for us at that point, not us as the coach, but as we're coaching that individual, figuring out what's the triggers that they actually have.
And I think a lot of it is about helping people let go of expectations of everybody having to behave in the same way that they behave, or letting go of the expectation that people are going to actually behave different than they actually do. It's about being able to sort of do some form of just saying, it is what it is. And because what happens is that I think is a lot of times people want to change the other person so the individual feels more comfortable. But I got to tell you, sometimes people make us feel uncomfortable, right? Or our judgment, and we have to ride through it. And so part of this is, how do we actually focus on what we can control and can't control and let go of our expectations of how others should show up?
And that's it, right? That's the nail in the head right there. It's about what control do you actually need to let go of, because this is a part of you trying to control them. It's not going to work.
Yeah. So key thing here is when somebody brings somebody else into the coaching relationship who's not there, stop coaching the relationship and find out from the individual what really has them stuck. And that's where it's going to be gold.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast. Craving more in-depth discussions? Check out the Get Real Inner Circle with our no BS in-crowd of coaches.
Join live coaching discussions, breakdowns of coaching calls, and have some fun while you're at it.
You're going to want to go to kickstartyouredge.com/inner circle. It's time to get real.